The Credit Show podcast with Harry Jacobs starts now.
You know, I want to talk about cost of money in the deal. Cost of money is a good topic for today. What I mean by the cost of money is when you borrow money, right? You're paying interest rate. That's what the cost is. So, you know, there are things, as you can imagine, I'm not Dave Ramsey, but I'm also not a believer in not using credit. And I'll give you an example. I have a Harley Davidson motorcycle. I've been a, avid motorcycle rider for, 30, maybe 35 years or something like that. And I have a Harley Davidson Street Glide that I ride. When I bought the bike, they were offering 1% financing on it. So the cost of that money is cheap. Now, could I have written a check? Could I have paid it off by now? Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely could have. But I'm paying nothing in interest for that. So why waste my powder, as the rich guys say? Why waste your powder on something that costs you nothing and just continue to pay the bill? So that's what I do. Now the alternative is that when you have bad, and I have good credit, obviously, but when you have bad credit and you make a deal to buy something, if I were to try to buy that, Street Glide when I bought it, I might have paid 18, 19% if I had, 500 or 600 credit. You go to these buy here, pay here lots, and buy a car. You're paying 20% down and then you're paying 25% or more in interest. You're getting crushed. By the time you're done, you've paid double what the car's worth. Listen, in every deal, and the car guys are going to hate this, and I have, no disrespect to car salesmen. You got a job to do, but they all give you the same line. And that is, I can't sell you this car for less than this because this is what we have into it. We're letting it go at this price. Well, that's never, ever true. That is out and out a lie. And I'd be glad to debate any car salesman that wants to call in. Again, no disrespect, but that's the game they play. When you trade your car in, you don't ever get more than what that car is worth wholesale. You won't get a private party blue book number when you go to the dealer. You won't get anything close to retail. You will get some sort of a wholesale number where they could buy that car at auction. That's what you get. Guy I used to smoke cigars with, nice guy, but at times just a relentless pain in my ass. He told me a couple times, because I'd ask him, I'd say, tell me about this, tell me about that. And it's like a magician asking him to show you, some trick that they do. There's a secret. But I heard him say it, and I made him repeat it a couple times, that in every deal they do, there's at least $5,000, right? Even if there's 3, right? I mean, listen, everyone's entitled to make a living, but don't lie to me in the process. Don't tell me that you have $30,000 into this car you're selling me for $30,000 and you're really not making any money. That's not how you do business. Someone's selling a car for 30, I guarantee you they didn't pay more than 25 for it. And the car dealers themselves are the major lots. I'm a little wound up. My East Coast comes out sometimes when I talk about this. I'm going to end up talking this whole show about cars. But listen, when you go and you buy a car and you're trading a car in, the car dealer is making money in a minimum of 2 ways, if not more. The car dealer is buying your car for a wholesale number, something they could buy that car for at auction. And then they're going to turn around and they're going to put $5,000 on it minimum and put it back out on their lot and sell it. So they're going to make 5, and then you're going to buy a new car for $50,000. Just giving you a round number. Maybe that car cost them $40,000 or $45,000. Maybe it's $45,000, but they get rebates back from the car manufacturer. And then they bring you to finance, and they get you to finance the car with them. They get points on that. So they're making another $1,000 or $2,000 on your finance. Then they're going to sell you a warranty. You're filling their pockets in ways you probably didn't realize you were. Listen, we all have to drive, It's just a matter of making a deal. I talked about my Harley a minute ago. When I bought that bike, I did an incredible amount of research on what that bike actually probably cost the dealer. And I can't remember the numbers exactly, but I'll give you some rough numbers for the purposes of discussion. And by the way, this takes into account that you would be willing to walk away from a car dealer, or in my case, a motorcycle dealer. You have to be able to walk in there and say, this is what I'm willing to pay, and I'm not willing to pay $1 more. And it's got to be reasonable, right? You can't expect them to sell you something for nothing. Again, I'm giving you some numbers to illustrate a point. These aren't exact numbers. But let's say the bike that I bought cost $25,000. That's what the sticker was. That's the MSRP, the manufacturer's suggested retail price on that. And that's how they were selling those bikes when I bought that bike. I saw the MSRP at 25, but then I looked online and I saw that what they're actually paying for that bike is 20. Plus, you're going to finance it, so you're going to get points back as the dealer on the interest. They're selling the bike for 25, bought it for 20. I walked in and said, this is what I know. Here's my research. You got $5,000 in this bike, and I'm going to finance it. I'm going to take you up on your 1% finance. I'm an 800 credit score guy. Let's make a deal, as Monty Hall used to say. I said, I will pay you $22,000 for this bike. That's my offer. I want $3,000 off that MSRP, and I'll sign that deal right now, and I'll do financing. And by the way, I'm not driving that bike out of here without a bunch of, you know us motorcycle guys, without spending a few grand in parts, add-ons, accessories, things, shiny things. In my case, black things, because my bike is all black. But you're going to get paid on the financing. You're going to make a couple grand on the bike, and then I'm going to spend a bunch of money over there in the parts department. You're going to make that extra money up, that $3,000, in parts and finance money. And by the way, I'll be out of your hair as soon as you can get my paperwork done. It was one of the fastest deals I've ever done. What took more time than anything else was the general manager trying to get involved and plead his case. And I said, listen, don't. If you don't want to sell this bike to me at this number, then I'm going to go find someone who wants $22,000 for the $25,000 bike and wants my money for parts and wants the money in finance. By the way, that's my final offer. Don't come back to me and say, well, we can, we'll meet you in the middle, or, we can't do 22, but we can do 22.7, or, whatever. I don't want to hear that. At any rate, I made the deal.
You've been listening to the Credit Show podcast with Harry Jacobs. If you need assistance with your credit, text CREDIT to 702-778-2000.